This is our league, and this is your league. From the 55-yard line on CFL America Radio and the Sports History Network.
Follow you to the chair.
Getting off the golf course. When is this airing? Gentlemen. I was asked to do something for John Madden. I didn't hesitate. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And the NFL wants you to do so and so and such and such. I said, man, I told my daughter, man, I ain't doing that. And he said, it's for John Madden. Oh, okay, all right, yeah, we'll work that out.
When I first started, we were the American Football League. You know, it's grown so much, just like history. What was good in one era at one time isn't good all the time. I went from coaching and from a coach to a broadcaster, and then from a broadcaster to video games. Also, I do pretty well in business. But I always wanted to be known as a coach.
How long have you guys been married?
61 and a half years.
I'm going to begin with his coaching career.
Okay.
How did John handle losing, Virginia?
Not well. No, he was not used to losing, nor was I. He had conditioned me to winning.
Well, I mean, first of all, John was on top of the game. The Raiders were in the AFC Championship game every year. So start with that. You know, they were just a big physical football team. When you look at John, you don't mistake him for anybody else. You can see this guy a mile away. And he always wore his stupid sideline pass. The thing always blew and it's going all over the place and everything.
A little disheveled from time to time. Everything's not always in the right spot.
The first thing that jumps out are the hands, up and
all you saw was and yelling and screaming at guys.
Hey, throw the damn flag! You big jerk! You don't call. You ever call one on them?
Don't get excited, John. Relax.
When you saw him on the sideline with a mouth that could eat a watermelon, and he had the big hook nose and the flowing red hair, he was a cartoon character.
One of the commentators said one time that I looked like an unmade bed. And I thought of that. I didn't take that as a real affront. I thought, well, that's not bad. I didn't have a lot of clothes. Whatever I had, I'd just kind of pick out and say, I'll wear this. And then if we won, then that became my lucky outfit. So I had to wear that again.
John's an emotional guy. He's not afraid to show that. He showed it on the sideline. When you get to know him, he shows it. And then that's the way his players played.
Most people of this generation don't see John as a coach. He's coach.
He wanted to win so bad for the players.
You can't write the history of professional football on the field without Coach Madden.
He was doing everything in his power to get his players to be at peak performance. He's a genius. He was a coaching genius.
Telling his players, this is what I want. Downhill, full speed, knock that guy on his butt, boom.
He's a big presence, seeing him jumping around.
He fought, and he'll fight you till the end.
Stabler rolling to the left. He's going to go. Woo! Runs it in.
John Madden is to the NFL
what Elvis Presley was to rock and roll. He's the king.
Going to the Super Bowl.
Well, I never saw any reason why the Raiders should ever lose a game. And I used to get so upset with coaches' wives who said, well, you can't win them all. And I said, why the hell can't you?
Stabler back to pass, a quick throw into the end zone. Casper, touchdown, Raiders!
And from that point on, we opened the gates. We were on our way. I said, we're going to kill these guys.
John Madden's grin is from ear to ear. He looks like a slit watermelon.
You know, if they look back now and say, what kind of coach was he? He was crazy.
Gentlemen, the Oakland Raiders called this press conference today with a touch of sorrow, but also with a great respect for a job well done, perhaps one of the greatest jobs in the history of professional football.
I was in 7th grade at the time. I was about to take a math test.
I do remember I got out of school to attend it. I was a freshman in high school.
I took the kids out of school because I thought they should witness this.
I think I was looking more at my brother at the time and getting his reaction. I'm the youngest in the family, so it was sad. It was a sad thing. I didn't know what's going to follow next.
I remember I was crying. He was crying. You know, we were, it wasn't what he wanted to do, but I think he knew he had to.
Long years of frustration for Oakland. Can't win the big one.
Listen, it's always hard because you want coaches to have whatever they want in life and in football. But, I mean, it consumes them on so many different levels.
This profession can get you. It's a constant daily mental strain.
And his pass is broken up by Tatum. Tipped off. Rachel Harris has it. And he's
Not that I carry old grudges, but playoff losses are tough because the finality of it. You have a loss in the postseason, you're done.
Listen, there's a little pressure in being a head coach. There was tremendous pressure back then. I know he felt that.
People don't realize, how much time it takes away, from your family, just having a life. And I know coaching for Al Davis, that had to be stressful as well.
I remember the losses a hell of a lot more than I remember the wins. You don't stay on top forever. And so I tell my mom that we've got a brace for the backside of this roller coaster.
It's not the game that takes anything out of you. The game is fun. That's the birthday party. That's the frosting on the cake. What takes it out of you is when you're the head coach, you're responsible for everything. You live and die with every play. Virginia just saw that I wasn't enjoying life.
I don't know what goes through a man's mind, but he probably thought that we were hung up on football, whereas we weren't. Finally, I just told him, I said, John, we don't need football. We need you.
I gave it everything I had. And really, it's basically that simple. I don't have any more. It's very difficult. It's very difficult after 10 years to stand up and say that you're retiring. I'm not resigning, I'm not quitting, I'm not doing anything. I'm retiring from football coaching, and I'm never going to coach again. Football is my life, and it's something that I say proudly, but it's complicated, and I don't apologize for it.
You do cool spins.
People need to read it.
I can't read it.
It's because you're like 4.
4.5.
Switch to Progressive and you can save hundreds. You know, like the sign says.
The red camellia owes its perennial youth to an extraordinary energy. Chanel Research has harnessed its powers to create a new generation of skincare. The sérum numéro 1 de Chanel is concentrated in red camellia extract, a potent ingredient that addresses the first stage of skin aging and supports its vitality. After 1 month of use, skin appears younger, smoother, more radiant, revitalized. Numéro 1 de Chanel. Beauty ahead of time.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that Light's got 1/3 less calories than their regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, Light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else... I gave it everything I had. I don't have any more. And I'm never going to coach again.
When he retired from the Raiders, we didn't know what he was going to do.
Madden's retirement signals the end of an era and perhaps the end of a dynasty.
Madden insisted he was leaving because he wanted to, but had a...
Well, the kids had their sports and they had school, and I was running a bar. He was hanging around the house and he was talking to the dog, you know, to Boss.
This is too slow for me. You know, I need action. I mean, I have to do something, and this isn't it. When I first started coaching college, you had to teach to coach. You know, I graduated, you know, in education, so I had to teach all the way along. Yeah, I was a teacher. I mean, that's what I was. And after I got out of coaching, I wanted to, you know, keep teaching football, and that's what I did.
The University of California contacted him about teaching a football class on how to watch football, I believe it was called.
I mean, forget it. Say that just showed an end zone shot. Yeah. And now you just lay the numbers in here. You know, I just thought that, you know, that people watch all this football on TV, but they really don't know the game, really what's going to happen. So I wanted to teach like I coached, you know, for men and women, you know, and men always say, well, you don't understand, you know, but they could understand and know more.
He loves football, and he loves the NFL, and he still wanted to work, but broadcasting was not something that he was impressed with.
John had no interest in going into broadcasting. He always thought that TV guys were, he called them hairdos. He thought Howard Cosell was just a bunch of baloney.
I'm Howard Cosell. My colleagues, Don Merritt.
I don't think he was impressed with the industry. When he was coaching, Howard Cosell comes out. They had lost to the Buffalo Bills, and John, great show. And you catch my dad at the wrong moment. He let Cosell have it. Great, show, my butt. We're fighting for our lives here. To you, it's a show. To me, it's my livelihood.
The last thing we want to do is make excuses. I didn't want to broadcast. I wasn't a guy when I was coaching to say, I want to get out. I want to be a broadcaster. I want to do that. I didn't say that. I didn't think that what they did was doing it the right way, so I wasn't a fan of it. CBS wanted to give me, 6 or 7 games or whatever it was. I said, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to broadcast. Maybe in a couple of years I'll want to do it. The agent at the time goes, maybe in a couple of years they won't want you. But every time in training camp, you'd have some players, they're away from home, it was real hot, there were 2-a-days, and they wanted to quit. But they still had a chance, some of them. So I used to tell them, look, you quit now, you'll never play football again the rest of your life. So I believed that, if you don't take it now, you may never take it the rest of your life. So I said, I'll take it now.
John does a rehearsal game at the LA Coliseum with another young, aspiring broadcaster by the name of Bob Costas.
I had never been in the booth in my life. It was with Bob Costas.
How high is the shot?
And he looked like a 12-year-old kid. And I thought, what am I going to do with this guy?
The quarterback starts like he's going on a drop back pass, hands to the running back on a delay.
6 minutes and 37 seconds left at the Coliseum.
I had been doing a handful of regional games for CBS, and they wanted to try John out. And my job was just to be the setup guy, to just take care of the nuts and bolts and get out of the way so that they could see if John was good enough to maybe be somewhere on their roster.
So I got up there and I thought, holy, we're in the LA Coliseum and it's like a mile away. I'm detached. I don't know what's going on there.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Costas.
Bob Costas started out, we're here in LA. And I look over and I think, holy moly, that's the little guy that I rode over with. I thought, holy moly, this guy's really good.
I just remember how much fun it was. Somehow, it turned out better than great for you, and it turned out reasonably okay for me.
My name's Ted Shaker. I worked at CBS Sports for 14 years.
What sparked interest in someone like John Madden?
Because he was this bigger-than-life character. He was somebody that we watched on the sidelines. He's somebody that we heard in the interview sessions or the press conferences after games. He was just this remarkable personality and a big winner at a very young age. And so it was logical.
You've been a coach. Isn't this too early for the Buccaneers?
But what we didn't do was take John Madden and put him as the number one, analyst right out of the box.
The sooner the better. I feel that it'd be a big thing.
Even though he was a big name Super Bowl, winning coach.
Know that they're in the playoffs, and then they have another another month to peak.
It's not something that you just, comes naturally. It takes time.
Well, he wasn't sure that he had the personality, the demeanor to do it.
One thing I remember, this is silly, but he's like, if I'm on camera, how do I hold a microphone?
Noise in the mix, or is it just in our headset?
You just can't talk when you want to, and you have to hit commercials, you have to hit halftime.
The medium range passes, he said,
I just didn't think it was very good.
We want to throw those short little things where he can come back, set up, boom, get rid of the ball right now. And if you give him a lane in there, a pass rush lane, he'll take it. You see that hole right there? He sees it and knows that he can get all the way to the...
I knew after I did the first couple games, that's what I wanted to do.
Vin, this weekend, I think I've heard the word must win more than I ever have in my life.
My dad continued to get better and better. It just felt real.
John had this energy that came to life, and it was authentic. And I think the people at CBS in the early 80s just saw something that they hadn't seen before.
Well, that's really not a problem when you're out of the Super Bowl in the next year. That's a nice problem, but...
This is something he wanted to do. Such a logical progression for him. And he was learning. And that's what he was doing, learning this whole time.
I wanted to broadcast. I mean, I didn't think I would, but I embraced it. I said, this is it.
Watch this replay. Makes a little basketball twist there and pivot, and boom, the ball's there right again between the 8 and the 9. Oh, is he happy?
He thought that football deserved better. You know, he wanted to take football broadcasting somewhere where it hadn't been.
I thought he was going to shine. Everything John ever touched was a success. I can't think of anything he ever failed at. Except his driver's test. Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
The game is connection, opportunity, where we find confidence and community. But not everyone gets the same shot. And we should all have the right to experience the gift of the game.
Verizon is going ultra, and so is our best unlimited plan ever. With 5G ultra wideband now in many more cities and up to 10 times the speed at no extra cost. And how about a 5G phone to go with it? On us.
Seriously?
Yep, it's our best plan ever. Verizon is going ultra, so you can too.
Man that inspires me and has inspired me for quite some time is Ron Simmons. Beating Vader, becoming world champion, that moment, man, is so cool.
Who inspires me in my career today? Gotta go with little homie, my son.
Black history, black culture, black people. Together, we rise.
Hey, you get into fitness, you're likely to get into athlete's foot, and that could be tough. I mean, look at, you've got all that itching and cracking stuff, and watch this. Boom, even burning. You see that? Now, that's what you call a really tough case. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Boom, get tough actin' Tenactin.
Pre-game of Super Bowl. So it's going to be like Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay.
Not memories, but just more like feelings, you know, like what you felt like.
Do you even remember your Super Bowl?
That's the thing. We talk about Favre, and you're the quarterback, and you're from Kill, Mississippi. You went to college in Southern Mississippi. You're going to do things like that. Yep. He's the darndest guy I've ever seen.
I've had so many people ask me over the years, why the fascination between you and Coach Madden?
Brett Favre has to have a day. I mean, it has to be.
Why me? I thought about that sometimes.
But ultimately and eventually, it gets down to Brett Favre and throwing.
When I met with Coach Madden, we were on the bus, and he would ask questions like, who you got coming to the game? I just remember I had a bunch of guys I played college ball with that came in, and I told him one of the guys that was coming in town had an uncle, a great uncle called Uncle Rube. And somehow we got to talking about, and I don't want to reveal too much, but Uncle Rube had a uncharacteristically large sack. John thought that was the most hilarious thing in the world. Lo and behold, the next day, Reggie White got a sack, and he squeezed in Uncle Rube in the telecast.
Well, that's the old Uncle Rube stuff. He just runs right into that sack.
It was, yeah, Uncle Rube was, Uncle Rube, I don't know, I can't say it. Can't say it.
In fact, they call that one a...
How did the bus come to be?
You want the whole story? We got time? How much film you guys got?
He doesn't have a fear of flying. He's claustrophobic.
So when he was coaching, he flew because he had to. So he was on a flight from Tampa. When the door closes, he says he had a panic attack.
I'm either going to get up, rip the door open, and jump out, or I'm going to gut it out. And I said, well, I'll gut it out. And I said, if we land and I'm still alive, I'll never get on an airplane again. And I didn't. That was in 1980.
Never mentioned anything about what happened. Never has to this day.
So he started traveling by train.
Get on up here, Coach. Come on. Okay. Get one by the window. You really do this. It's the only way. The wheels never leave the ground.
Amtrak is owned by our government, so it takes 72 hours to get from coast to coast. So it just took a long time. They were not reliable.
So I'd go outside and they'd come in and I'd go in the locker room and they'd go in the dressing room. So 2 hours.
There was a shoot where John needed to get somewhere quickly and CBS rented a tour bus for him. And it happened to be Dolly Parton's tour bus that she rented out. And I remember him saying, we need to get ourselves one of these.
And I thought, that's it. That's the answer. I want a bus.
That's the first bus we went on a trip.
We're going to head across the...
Yeah. It says Madden Cruiser. That was the bus. It was home to me for 23 years. And I enjoyed every last minute of it. You know, I might have made a wrong turn somewhere, but Coach never said anything because he knew that I cared about what I was doing. I cared about him, I cared about the bus, and we made some great trips.
The one thing about John Madden that I so appreciate is that he stopped to smell the flowers. When I got to Sports Illustrated in June 1989, one of the stories, one of my passion projects was I wanted to ride the bus across country with John Madden. John Madden, 54, has a job most of us would love to have. He sleeps as late as he wants and wears whatever clothes he wants almost every day of his life. He has to be somewhere with a tie on for only 3 hours a week. To do this job, he crisscrosses the United States 6 months a year in the greatest bus you've ever seen. What I've learned traveling around is this: people are nice. You go to a big city and you hear the world is going to hell, but it's not true. Small parts of it are. The whole isn't. You get out there and it makes you feel better about America. The thing works.
It's when you get mad at the referee. You just start pulling his parts off.
When you don't have to pretend, when you don't have to think, okay, now what am I going to say here? He never had to do that because he was always going to talk like he was talking to a guy sitting right in front of him and explaining the game to him.
Gets his depth and sets up at a point just about behind his right tackle.
John worked with a number of play-by-play people.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender, along with John Madden.
Dick Stockton, Vin Scully.
John, working with you has already improved my posture.
I worked with Lindsey Nelson. I worked with Jack Buck. When they needed someone to fill in, I was on the bench and I was there.
Dick Vermeil said, you can't learn anything from losing except how to lose. I kind of agree with Dick. Okay, Vin?
I think it was, finding his way. Once he became the number one guy, who do we want to work with John? And I think it was unanimous. It was Pat Summerall.
Leroy Jordan, the leader of their defense, needs this to get used to.
Pat was against this thing in the beginning of working with John. And John was an outsider to that crew that had been there.
Hello.
John didn't hear the countdown that time.
I still don't hear them now. Hello?
You know, Pat was with Tom Brookshire. They were pals.
Back in behind those wires and all those petitions, John Madden for me.
The first year I worked with him for a couple games, neither one of us thought that we'd ever work together again because he did it for so long. And that, you know, I was coming in, that I was always a new guy.
The pairing of these two guys, one understated.
It's like opening the door and looking at the world, and here come the 49ers.
One who can't stop talking.
You know, if someone's not open, he'll move to the right. I think he's the best in football at that.
Now, finally, John, you having been a coach.
I mean, it was like the first time peanut butter met jelly.
Super Bowl 16. What a build-up. We've been here since Monday, and I felt like running down and playing.
I have goosebumps all over.
Pat understood it. Pat played the game, coached the game, was an analyst, and a play-by-play guy. He knew it from every angle.
Is hit by Stuckey and dropped for a loss all the way back to
And Pat was just the perfect partner. You know, Pat was probably at a place in his career where he wanted to up his game a little bit.
10 from just outside the 10. The throw to Cooper, and Cooper scores for San Francisco from Montana. Big Earl Cooper.
He just plays at a different level, another level, and he makes it look so easy. You know, like the rest of people, I mean, you struggle through life to do things, and this guy comes in and kind of makes a joke out of it.
Just sort of glides around and gets it done.
And even in practice, everything he does is like that.
His ability to describe what was going on and also have fun at it at the same time, he made everyone want to watch football. Women, kids, any age, didn't matter. He brought life to the booth that I would imagine he had on that same sideline.
Now Joe Montana saying he took the football, he doesn't have to control his excitement anymore.
San Francisco, what a remarkable story.
You know, and Pat was played right off of him. They were a good match, good match.
And Bill Walsh on the shoulders.
All right, that's the greatest feeling in the world. That's what it's all about. You know, for this team, for this coach, for this owner, for this town, they'll never forget this day.
There's no one like that, and there won't be anyone like
We
him.
have this one last chance. I can't tell you what a joy it's been working with you.
Well, I sure enjoyed it, and I thank you for everything, for having to put up with all my goofy things.
Well, all I can say to you is I hope the rest of the year continues to be good to you, and may no train pass you by. Let's go back to Brent Musburger.
This is Antonelli's Cheese Shop.
And we're the Antonellis.
Do good, eat good.
That's our mission.
We chose our Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One because it gives us unlimited 2% cash back on everything we buy.
And it has no preset spending limit, so our purchasing power adapts to our business needs. We use our 2% cash back to help cover our employees' healthcare costs.
And that's how we take care of our most valuable asset.
Our people. It may sound cheesy,
but we like it that way. What's in your wallet?
Cha-ching. On things that make you feel fancy. And on travel when you get a bit antsy. Cha-ching. On electronics, chop. Ching. For ladies with speed. Whoosh. For parents and whatever they need. Cha-ching. Get it on childhood things, rings, and fur baby bling. It's cash back at thousands of stores. Cha-ching. It's the joy of making it yours.
Okay. And you noticed Pat Troy Aikman's trying to grow a beard. There it is. And he got a little in here and a little up there. Here, but he doesn't have anything here at all. Watch, when you take it off, he doesn't have anything going up in there.
Well, you got to give him time. He just had his 29th birthday.
I know, but I don't think he's doing a very good... I quit.
That's John Madden summed up right there in one piece. I've never seen that.
Like, this is a father bucket, this is a mother bucket, and since the last...
I just used it all the time.
So
Sometimes it was too...
So they got three now.
I know that. But you did that with plays, you know, like when you were diagramming a play, you know, you'd be saying that this guy here, you know, in the tackle, you block, you cut, you're going to slant in behind him, and on all that stuff. There was just stuff all over.
They talk about Bill Belichick as a gym rat coach. Now, where would you think that he would keep the flag when he's not going to throw it? That's right. Where any head coach is a gym rat. Yeah. I mean, that's what old coaches
When
are.
you as a coach win, you get to be a genius.
If you look at it,
But if you look at it,
you're a guy that was a PE.
you're a guy that was a PE major in college.
Your best
class was recess. That's the truth.
And then
you become a coach.
Some games, then you become a genius.
You go from being good at recess to being a genius.
Good at recess to being a genius.
That's a hell of a quote.
Yeah, look at this here. I see two fat guys talking football, and man, we just had a lot in common. I think he was like a regular neighborhood New Jersey guy. He was candid, he was honest, he was demonstrative, he was forthright. Sometimes different words would come out, bams and booms. And
Give me one right in the head there. I love it.
people said, you know what? We like this.
Boy, could I go for a nice cold light beer from Miller. So I thought I'd just pop in at my favorite hangout and have one with the guys. Well, the whole gang drinks light. Oh, sure, there's a lot of other light beers around, but we all agree the light beer for me is terrific. And get this, it's less filling. John, how many times?
My name's Bob Stenner, and I've worked with Pat and John for 21 years. John, he would test you. He would ask questions all the time. That's the coach in him, and that's the school teacher in him. That's the way he felt to get the most out of people, and he did.
That was a great experience. Watching Phil, go into practice.
Madden, what do you think of that style?
Where everyone gets together and everyone hangs out together. It was just camaraderie. I loved it.
When I was in junior college, I threw a baseball over
Ladies and gentlemen, now stepping up to throw the first ball, Bob Stenner.
Right off the bus.
Get over. I threw it over.
I don't know.
I'm just a street kid from New York, hired to be a broadcast associate.
Where's Richie?
CBS.
Where's Science?
I find myself working with John Madden on the lead crew. We're on the bus, and I think we are somewhere in Wyoming. Typical, right? And John is getting calls from every network. Like he's just sitting there.
Major victory for the young, upstart Fox Television Network. The network that brought America Married with Children and Beverly Hills 90210 will soon be broadcasting professional football after outmaneuvering CBS.
I had left college to go work for CBS at Lillehammer as a BA with Richie Zients on hockey. We knew that CBS had lost the NFL. You're over there as a 21-year-old kid with a bunch of CBS people. They don't know what's going to happen in their lives.
I remember we were in New York, and he had mentioned the fact that Fox had contacted him. And he said before he signed a contract, he wanted to meet Rupert Murdoch.
Rupert Murdoch, chairman and CEO of Fox Incorporated, says consumers want...
With a swagger, in 1993, Murdoch walked into the network's clubhouse and declared, "Fox is here to play. We want football."
If I was looking for an American, a real American, to introduce to an Englishman or an Australian or whatever, it could be to John Madden. He wanted to be assured that we had the same standards as CBS. I said to him, no, we want much better. I'm bringing in David Hill. He's the greatest sports producer in the world.
First of all, I never believed that that Fox would get the NFC package of the NFL. Never.
CBS never saw it coming, but after 38 years, the network lost the TV rights to the National Football Conference to a network that did not even exist 7 years ago.
Every journalist said they've paid far too much. The NFL's made a mistake that they're going to have John Madden looking like Bart Simpson.
Nice job on the fish.
If we'd screwed up, I have no doubt the NFL would have taken that contract back from Fox. We didn't even have a logo, didn't have a theme, didn't have a studio, nothing. And we certainly didn't have any broadcast teams. Well, who do we need to prove that we're legit? And there was only two. That was Pat Summerall and John Madden.
Yeah, I got hit in the back. Yeah. Thank you.
Even those guys. We had a fantasy league draft last night. I went for Make sure you throw it.
I thought he was human. He'd take the highest bid. We were determined to get him, and we paid what we had to pay. John signed on. The rest followed.
The idea that you could be an expansion team and end up signing the #1 player in that league, how does that happen?
Anybody have any spam?
And then there's a line of people, like a conga line, following John to Fox. Pat Summerall, Bob Stenner. And now all of a sudden, Fox has all of CBS's best people.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, roll 73.
This is a Fox Sports presentation.
For John, I viewed him as the conscience of our network. And it was a blank slate, and we hired people, and we hired producers, directors, BAs, the whole thing. I look back on it now, 28 years ago, and I go, my God, how did we do that? When you hire John Madden, you have instant credibility.
When Fox got the NFL package, the first thing they hired John and Pat Summerall. I think that made a statement to the entire country. Hey, we're fixing to go out there and be the very best.
John made this business bigger and better than it had ever been. If you just heard his voice, even in the distance, that was a TV you had to run to.
As a coach, I didn't want to have a lot of rules because the more rules you have, the more chances they have to break them. So I had 3 rules.
#1, be on time. #2, pay attention. And #3, when I ask you to play hard, play hard. I'm a kid that ended up getting an opportunity to get a job at Fox, and you walk in and there are people who have been doing this for a very long time. There are people who you've been watching on television do this for a very long time. But everybody stops when John walks in. It wasn't just the fact that you were in the same room as them, but now, to a certain degree, you're a colleague.
I felt like I was at the birth of a star.
Well, I'll tell you. Let me do it again.
I saw it develop, and I saw him become what he became.
Hi, I'm John Madden. 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 Now, just in case there's any confusion on the subject, I'm here to help you learn how to watch football this fall. First of all, you bring over all your friends.
Television is all about human beings talking to human beings. John's magic was that he was educating the public. This was an occasion. This was an event.
So, that's just you. You sit right.
It was the great John Madden.
Decided you can go all over the place.
I enjoyed CBS. Thought I'd be there forever. Then I lost it. Going to Fox, it was something new and different. That's the part that I remember the most.
That's our All Madden linebackers. Now, here's what else is coming up.
Here we go again. Wait a minute.
Cooking can be a chance to pause and be thankful for the little moments. Like a radiant color palette. The hypnotizing swirl of a recipe coming together. And when it's finished, all that's left is to savor it.
Go to HelloFresh.com and use code PEACOCK16 for 16 free meals plus 3 free gifts.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than this.
I'll take Barkley.
Yes, I still got it. I told you she picked me first.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
The Outback is all Madden country, and out here, they have their own kind of tailgating. Outbacking. Check out that perfect end-over-end. That's all Madden. These seasoned pros are ready to go. That's all Madden. And there's no penalty for piling on.
You'll always find a great steak and a great time at Outback Steakhouse.
One thing I never hear in the Outback is, that's all, Madden.
Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
They want to be on the cover of Madden. They want to be in the game Madden. They want to be lifted to the highest step of the pedestal that you can from Madden. All this nonsense about the Madden curse, it's the Madden blessing.
Playing myself on Madden, it was so weird because I tried to run too much. I didn't focus on passing. So I went and got Brady and Peyton Manning and Drew Brees, and I always wanted to be a pocket passer, so I played with those guys. John Madden was the voice. He made me want to play in the National Football League.
Well, right off the top, I have to ask him this kind of embarrassing question because I'm concerned about the graphic speed of 8-bit machines. I thought, well, you know, you could take out the guards and the tackles, and he just put his foot down immediately and said,
if you don't have 11 against 11, it's not football.
And then it was like, yeah, oh yeah, right.
Then go back in this time.
He just said, no, we're going to do it. We're going to do it this way. It had to be real football to him. That game alone ended up creating millions of fans. You talk about people who have learned about the game of football.
1st and 10. 3 wide receivers.
I used to watch the throwback games, and they have Vince Lombardi and John Madden, you know, legendary coaches, you know, getting held up by their team at the time. So I already seen Mr. Madden, like, okay, he was a coach. Like, he's not going to be a water boy and getting put up in the air like that. I'm not going to lie, I really lose on Madden. Like, if I'm playing, I don't really lose like that. Like, it got to be somebody who's really good to make me lose. I'm not just going to lose.
I think if you look at the game, and the evolution as a game, you know, the pro football game changes. As we've grown, the game has gotten faster. It's played at a faster pace, and the players are faster.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
Well, my first encounter with the game, that's when they had Michael Vick on the cover. A younger version of myself and other guys, you know, we used to play with our favorite players. I mean, that's what we did all our lives, you know. It still give you that little kid vibe, like I'm still a little kid at heart.
With the 32nd pick.
And it's like, man, I want to go to the league one day.
And select Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
There's a lot of kids that have learned football by playing the Madden game, where they'll say, you know, we ought to do it like they do it in the video game. And I'm thinking, holy moly, what a change. You know, it's okay to say, what are you doing? I'm going to go play Madden.
Oh, yeah. They showed me this. It's dope, like.
What Jackson's done in and out and back and forth and like a video game right now. He keeps it to the end zone, touchdown.
When they told me, yeah, you're the guy who was choosing this year, I'm like, what? Like, I almost cried. I don't cry. I just ain't like my overall at the time. I'm like, man, I got to get that up. But, you know, just me being in the game, it's like, man, I'm part of Mr. John Madden's history, you know, so it was like, one of the chosen ones. You know, those guys who's been on the cover was chosen ones.
That was a big hit.
All those guys on defense did a good job of filling the gaps, so the running back had nowhere to go.
It's mind-boggling that it's become such a big brand that it's just called Madden. You know, maybe Madden as a brand is still going to be around hundreds of years from now.
You look back and you realize, you know, how long ago that was, you know, what the game was, and you kind of think what you were at the time.
Time out. Boom! Tough actin', Tinactin. You see, Tinactin cures even...
John was starting to become one of the most sought-after pitchmen in sports. Really, at the time, it was Michael Jordan and John Madden. There were always networks reaching out saying, is there any chance to get Madden?
Now you're talking.
And it opened the Dick Ebersol door. which once that door opens, forget about it.
He appeals to your son or your grandson, uncle or your grandfather. He appeals to all these different people. Boom! I mean, you know, John was his own sound effects machine. Who else ever did that before? John made it humane. The first time I really spent time with John is when he, for whatever wonderful, bizarre reason, agreed to my invitation for him to host Saturday Night Live in its heyday. Everything was going so well. That was my first Super Bowl with Pat. And then Dick Ebersol wanted me to do Saturday Night Live. So I said, yeah, I'll do it, you know.
Hey, this is going to be a great show. I've been practicing with the team all week. They're terrific. He takes a $50 bill off the top and he goes, whack. And I'm looking at that and I'm saying, whew, that is weird now.
We were always looking for people who, you know, stretched the boundaries, and I always believed in eclectic. I mean, so does Lorne Michaels to this day.
You don't think I'm going in there for 35 cents, do you?
I think you can say John's fearless, and if he is afraid, he does a hell of a job of disguising it. There's never been anybody like him before, and I can guarantee you there will never be anybody like him again.
Taken in the end zone by McAllister, and McAllister's going to come out with it, figuring he has nothing to lose. McAllister coming down the sideline, and McAllister...
Oh, you could feel it because, you know, if there was a play...
Can you believe this?
And it had like a seminal ending.
This is unbelievable.
Who's got Ray Lewis? Ray Lewis threw a block as well. That's a...
Anytime you have contact, it was always, you know, he pulls up right there and boom! He hits that guy.
I got to do one of yours. Boom, 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 boom.
Worse than a boom, that's one that loosens your teeth.
That might have been one. I remember that one, too. Boom! How's that one?
That was awesome.
That was my first boom ever. I had a great trip with him on the Madden bus early on as I was commissioner. We went to, I think, 5 or 6 different training camps. You get out of the rest stop with Coach Madden, everybody from all over. We couldn't get it back on the bus.
How are you? Very good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. What are you here for?
No, just going through.
Sometimes it's just bedlam. They just follow us until we park. To just see him get off the bus, you know.
Hey, yo. I want to talk to John Madden.
Hey, yo.
Hey, John.
Coach was a total celebrity, beyond celebrity. That's the way people treated him.
John was in an exclusive world, but he was very inclusive.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
People would come up and talk to him in the restaurants, and he wasn't in a hurry.
I appreciate it. Okay, very much. Good luck, Packers. Hey, thank you. See you later.
John's style, if I had one word, I would say connectivity. He knew how to connect. He knew the big city life. He knew the football life. But I think when he went out there in the country, he connected to these people.
You're going down to the Packer game tomorrow?
Yeah. On our way to Madison.
I always wanted to talk to the local people, and I wanted to talk about what they did. I remember one day I'm talking to a dairy farmer. When you're a dairy farmer, you don't get a day off. You have to milk those cows every day. And I thought, geez, I think this game of football is serious, but other people have serious things. It was just things like that.
It's like being on top of the world.
You find out how the country is made.
So guys, 7 yards. Why don't we make a check-in when Melissa starts?
Melissa is on 16. Al, we saw the two teams going at it before the game tonight, and I mentioned that Steelers...
We had an instant connection.
Are you still on that? Can you tell me what Princess Diana...
And he flew up there so we could tell Don and get him out. I was really young, mid-20s, and he's sort of this godlike figure.
You got my drift.
Anyone you talk to, they love him for a different reason. But when it comes down to it, the beauty of him and is just how down to earth and genuine he is, despite everything he's achieved.
Me personally?
We just connected on a really human level, which is rare, I think, in this business. Oh, no!
You have to impress them, and no. But then wait a minute. Here, let me coach
See
you
how
up.
soft-spoken he is and with a smile? I don't think I've ever seen this. Oh my gosh.
That's it. Good, Melissa. Hands up.
I broke his rhythm.
It's a lot easier to complete when Melissa's not on defense.
I need to fine-tune my technique.
He was always giving me confidence and treating me like I was one of the guys. For him to believe in me, I mean, that's everything.
Hey, bud. Thanks for coming out to cheer me on.
Dad, I'm always here.
I'm always here for you, too.
Okay, go, Dad.
Thanks.
No, everyone's passing you.
You got it, Coach.
Switch to Progressive and you can save hundreds. You know, like the sign says.
The game is connection, opportunity, where we find confidence and community. But not everyone gets the same shot. We should all have the right to play. The game. It's our gift. And we all have the right to experience the gift of the game.
We come here on a glorious quest. Search for that which can be found nowhere else. Where? In the trenches where mighty men clash? Amidst the echoes of glories past? High atop Olympus? No! This is our quest. This is what football is all about. Now all I gotta do is find that nacho guy.
Omaha! My grandfather was a huge football fan, obviously, loved watching his grandchildren play. In my rookie year, we weren't very good, obviously, 3-13. It's like every other week he would ask me, are Madden and Summerall doing the game Sunday? I said, Papa, no, they're not. We're playing the Bengals, who are 1-9. Madden and Summerall just don't do those games. Next thing you know, we were playing the Cowboys. They, of course, had Aikman, Emmett, Dion. That was a big deal. But the Madden-Summerall combination coming to town was just as big.
You think of Peyton Manning, and he reminds you so much of his dad, Archie Manning, and what a job they did in raising him. And I mean, he's what it's all about. And he's kind of my new favorite player, if that makes any sense.
It does. And I can see why.
No, it was a great memory. It was a great, in our building, we felt like we have a chance to be something special, but we can't go out there and say that. But when John Madden comes in and says it, okay, this must be real.
They're on their way to something big, to something special.
This will be Thanksgiving John Madden style.
Those are the only two things you need. There's a turkey to eat and a football to throw. What else a guy needs?
Which turkey is this?
This is a turducken.
This is a turducken. Okay.
See, it's turkey, dressing, duck, dressing, chicken.
Huh.
First glance, it's a turkey, but if you look a little deeper, there's more to this bird.
1997, John Madden was coming to New Orleans to call a Saints game. Local radio personality said, wouldn't it be nice if John Madden would try this turducken? The next thing you know, we bring in a turducken to the game.
The scores and highlights of all the other games have been some surprises today, including that turducken.
Turducken. It smelled so good. So I just started grabbing it, pulling it apart. And man, just ate it. Because it's all boneless.
Yeah. About a week later, I get a phone call from Fox Sports. They said, Glenn, John Madden wants the turducken to be the official food for our Madden team.
Here it is.
We're selling like 250 turduckens for Thanksgiving.
Hey, Mr. Man, Mr. Summerall, happy Thanksgiving, fellas.
We were doing 6,000 turduckens the following year just because of John Madden.
Thanksgiving is a traditional day.
When John Madden speaks, people listen.
Football game and turkey legs and turduckens and great football players and
all Madden turducken,
Doesn't get any better than this.
Let's talk football. That's why we're here, after all.
Yes, big and surprisingly fast. He could run. Some of the years are fuzzy, but I've known John since the 3rd grade, and we've been best of friends all that time.
Offense, you have 11 guys, and they all have to be on the same page. I mean, the ends have to run the pass pattern, the backs have to go where they're supposed to go, the quarterback has to read and do the
was a
whole
lineman.
thing. But the most important thing are those big offensive linemen, the guys in the trenches.
No, let me scratch it. John is a lineman. You can tell by the shirts that he wears what he had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's all right here, right on him.
Start going this way, that's about 1,000-pound a guy going that way.
He was the first broadcaster to really pay attention to the offensive line.
He identifies with all the offensive linemen in particular and defensive linemen, because really, that's where the game is played.
And then his childhood pal, John Robinson, said, you should do your own all-pro team, like Madden sort of guys.
He's a good player.
We had a clear idea of who the Madden team was. Anybody that would hit was tough. The guys were a little squirrely, he loved. He'd tell them, you're one of my kind of guys.
Good evening. Dan Rather reporting from New York. Tonight, after months of intense lobbying, an eager nation now awaits its first word of this year's All-Madden team. And here is John Madden.
Well, we're getting ready to announce the annual All-Madden team, and we do have one rule, and the only rule is that
being tough, having passion about the game.
Well, that's the thing that you miss in football, that
rough and tumble, get in your face.
And always chomping in the bit, he's ready to go.
They were like the neighborhood bullies.
Number one, you have to be willing to get dirty. You have to be willing
You're going to bruise yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to play with a little pain.
It was like a biker gang.
Guys on the All-Madden team play with broken legs.
Torn tendon and a fracture.
Snap just like a pencil.
Guy that don't mind getting his uniform dirty. Guy that don't mind getting hit.
If I make the All-Madden team, I've done something special in a crazy way.
Look at that jump. Guys going backwards.
I think there was a lot of pride being named to the All-Madden team because that meant you were a tough, hard-nosed football player.
It means I play the game the right way. It's through a coach's eyes. That was a badge of honor.
The opportunity to play was worth the pain of a broken leg. You don't get any better than that.
John, he reminds me that football was fun.
Mark.
And action.
Hi, I'm John Madden. You know what I love about the NFL? Is every Sunday you get to watch the greatest players in the world. I've been seeing Troy Aikman, boom, get back there and pass to a Michael Irvin. And it's not only those guys, not only the big names, but it's the guys like Nate Newton, the Dallas Cowboys in the trenches.
I remember when I first met Coach Madden, man, I was trying to find our locker room. All of a sudden, here's a crowd of people coming. And I look up and I see Coach Madden. And when he looked at me, I said, "What's up, Coach Madden?" He said, "What's up, Nate Newton?" I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I know you, man." He said, "You're a decent ball player."
Nate Newton here. They catch him on the slant. He just drives his...
Coach Madden called your name. And you talking about somebody who was so hyped.
Look at, now you're talking. I mean, this is football. When you got steam coming out of your head and your mouth, now you're talking football. And you're controlling that offensive line. This is what it's all about. It's a playoff game. If you win, you go to the championship. Look, what are you talking about? Here, look.
Over the course of my 12-year career, we were able to win 3 world championships and a lot of playoff games.
He does all these things. This guy in the second half, Troy Aikman.
John Madden narrated my career, and I don't know that it gets any better than that. So I feel very fortunate. I know my teammates feel fortunate to have John Madden and Pat Summerall as the soundtrack to the highlights of our career.
Boy, Nate just took his guy and just boom, just put him right on the ground about 5 yards sideways.
As time went on, he would call me in for interviews. Him and Coach Summerall, they would call me in for meetings, man. And whether he called me in or not, I would just wait till he finished interviewing other players. I would just talk with his bus guys, take him sandwiches. I got into the turkey legs.
Leg, man. John said have a leg.
Yeah. Hey.
John said have a leg.
And then you guys get the whole bird, too, Nate.
Yeah.
We built a bond from there. That thing blossomed, man.
What about the other guys?
It can't be an all-Madden team without Nate Newton.
Next thing you know, I'm all Madden, baby. I'm all Madden.
Well, I feel like hitting today. I need.
Clown D. Hey, Clown D. What about
people would get upset if they didn't make the All-Madden team. Oh, man, I'm a good player. I'm saying, man, you ain't nothing unless you make the All-Madden team.
6'3", lean and mean. You gotta be a renegade to make the Madden team.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
First, I tried to block him with a running back, and that didn't work. And then I had to slide the tackle, and that didn't work. I always said a defensive player can never win a game by himself. Then I did a Thanksgiving Day game in Detroit. Lawrence Taylor won the game by himself.
Detroit.
Outside lift off by Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor down the sideline. Don't think he can't run. Lawrence Taylor's going to go and put it out.
There are some defensive players that are great players. They play well. There are some that are great enough, good enough to dominate a game, to win by themselves, and that's the type of defensive player Lawrence Taylor is.
Okay, he tells the truth, too. I don't have to run every Sunday, and I don't have to do this every Sunday, but John Madden because I know John Madden's calling the game. I got to give him what he gives me. I don't know what else to say. I mean, hey, listen, you don't want to let your teammates down, but hey, John Madden, if he's on your side, you don't want to let him down either.
We'll continue with the All-Madden team after this.
Cha-ching. On things that make you feel fancy. And on travel when you get a bit antsy. Cha-ching. On electronics, chop. Ching. For ladies with speed. Whoosh. For parents and whatever they need. Cha-ching. Get it on childhood things, rings, and fur baby bling. It's cash back at thousands of stores. Cha-ching. It's the joy of making it yours.
Verizon is going ultra, and so is our best unlimited plan ever, with 5G ultra wideband now in many more cities and up to 10 times the speed at no extra cost. And how about a 5G phone to go with it? On us.
Seriously?
Yep, it's our best plan ever. Verizon is going ultra, so you can too.
Goes right in that hole where the linebacker blitzed from. See, there's the blitz. Emmitt Smith goes boom!
Oh, that was terrible. I could do better than that. Boom! A little bit better.
You know, such a special thing because you don't get an opportunity to see history. You get an opportunity to read about history, and you get an opportunity to think about it, to dream about it. But you don't get a lot of opportunities to sit in the same room with it.
I can't remember the exact words, but I approached my dad and I said, you know, I'd love to spend some time with you on the bus.
Taking care of the guys, feed them.
Just wanted to spend time on the road. There's something about sitting in the bus. Got to know Willie Yarbrough.
Everything in here? Yeah, everything's in there. Right.
Going through some town. They're going to my dad's favorite restaurant.
$50 going to me. $50.
Just hanging with my dad.
This is $50.
Everyone's won one.
It's no surprise to me that he actually ended up being loved by millions of Americans. You can't rubber stamp John Madden, right? I don't know how you do that.
You get to eat in Sbarro's.
Come a long way.
I loved every second with Madden. I loved all the bus rides. We watched film.
Up on that side,
We talked football. We talked about leadership, where to eat.
Did you eat today?
Yeah, I got a bagel when you were. And I think the Hall of Fame was really a big deal for John. And when I first started working with him, I couldn't believe he wasn't in it. We're doing Super Bowl 40. John's a finalist this year. It's the Saturday before the game, and we're in Pittsburgh's locker room. And so I just turn the TV on, and NFL Network pops up.
Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2006.
First year I was eligible, I was a finalist. And then after a while, I wasn't even in it.
So I've got my camera, and I'm just thinking, maybe something's going to happen.
Troy
Aikman, Harry Carson.
John Madden. Holy moly.
The room exploded, and we're like in this big hug. The joy on his face and that hug that Mike memorialized forever, it's like one of the great moments of my life.
Not a photographic masterpiece. It's kind of cool from where we come from.
Right, and end up behind his right tackle. He starts out to the left, reverse pivots, and rolls, gets his depth, and sets up at a point just about.
Now to the podium, the latest inductee into the Hall of Fame, the class of 2006, the legendary Raider head coach, John.
I waited a long time. And then when you hear your name.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great John Madden.
I mean, that's real. You always think of, what it would be like if you ever enshrined into the Hall of Fame, and people say, what will you do when you get up to the podium? And I tell them, I don't know. I'll tell you when I get up there. And right now, I don't have a lot of, I got like numb. I'm not a big person for, what's your legacy? What are you? I think that's for other people. With my coaching career, I was satisfied. It was one of the great moments of my life.
When most presenters put the jacket on, it's kind of done with a handshake. And I said, we're going in for a hug.
That was a moment between the three of us. It was a family moment. And my mom should have been on stage too, but it was a moment that will always stay with me.
They talk about how hard coaches work. They work 18, 20 hours a day. They sleep on a couch. They don't come home. And that's not the hard job. The hard job is a coach's wife, believe me.
What did we sacrifice? Well, we sacrificed his time as a father. We sacrificed the fact that he wasn't there a lot.
So, when anyone is appreciated.
But what did we gain?
Appreciate the wife, and I had the greatest, and I have the greatest in Virginia. Thank you.
Well, we gained a lot of fun. So it paid off.
Stand up, you deserve it. And my two sons, Mike and Joe, I'm so proud of them. They're not only my two sons, but they're my two best friends. And, just everything that they do. I used to, when they were kids, I used to take them to practice on Saturdays, not take them to the Pro Bowl.
So I know I'm talking to my dad, but I don't want to say anything now that I don't convey every day. And, I love my dad. I've been proud. I've been known as John Madden's son my whole life. And that's been a pretty cool thing. I'm just proud. Everything that he's done and the way that he does it. He coached with a passion and love for the game that's admirable. He went into broadcasting and changed the way football was broadcast, if not greater sports. You know, even when he was selling light beer from Miller, you know, breaking through the paper.
This game isn't over yet. I caught that ball.
He changed the way America celebrates Thanksgiving, for crying out loud. Turducken is now a household word. And these things sometimes come to me from the outside, but, you know, because I've been so close to it. You know, Dad, I've been proud of everything you've ever done. And all of your careers have been Hall of Fame careers. And even in your role as father, you're a Hall of Fame guy.
My message is the same now as it would have been back then. I love you, Coach. Anytime I got to go into a production meeting with you, we had a blast, and I'm sure you'll chuckle thinking back to those times.
You're about 22 there.
Yeah. 30 seconds is
Coach, you have meant so much to the NFL, so much to the game of football, and so much to me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I always wanted to be on the cover of Madden. I think every player does. Thanks for creating a love for football for me, because this is what you dream about when you're a little kid.
Coach, you know I love you, and I know you love me, and we'll leave it at that.
Not everybody can say that they were the truth around exhausting the game of football. That's your truth.
The 7 years we spent together went by in 25 minutes. Nobody in the history of that sport was more important than you.
This is good when you can see your breath. When you see your breath, it's good football weather.
John, love you. I love everything that you've done for the game of football. Thank you for all the help that you personally have done to me.
So, Joe, you going to play for 10 more years?
I wish I had 10 in me.
Congratulations on a remarkable career, and you'll always be Coach Madden.
There are not many guys that can get to the top of one profession, much less two.
You've helped me through all the ups and downs. I love you, man.
The left goes to the right goes to the left. This guy crosses here, he crosses here. They have no idea where we are.
To be authentic, to be unique, and to be great at what you do, it just doesn't really ever come along, except it did with you.
John, I so appreciate you as a person, as a coworker. You're the most genuine person I know.
You've influenced me in ways that you can't even imagine. It was an honor of my lifetime to go in that 2006 class with you in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
You always got this, you always know how much time there is and what the score is.
Coach Madden, we grew up in the same area. Hard-nosed NorCal guys, I would say that. You've had an incredible career. Our game is all better for it, so I appreciate it.
Then I'm saving this spot here for the greatest of them all, number 56, Lawrence Taylor.
John Madden looked into my heart and he realized what type of player I am and what type of person I am. And maybe everybody else didn't. John Madden made me a better player. Simple as that. Case closed. That's it.
Whoa. That was something. When I hear that stuff, it makes me realize that what I didn't realize probably.